Hey everyone, it's April from Well Life Yoga and Health. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be moving through a spinal health flow. So just getting a lot of movement in the spine, getting some opening in the front body, in the heart, and in the hips. So if that sounds like something that you really need because you've kind of been all scrunched up, hunching over at work or anything like that, then this is going to be an ideal flow for you. We're going to try to keep it around 20-25 minutes or so. So if you're ready to get started, let's go ahead and sit in easy pose for a moment. We will quiet the mind for just a little bit and find our intention before we get moving. Sitting tall, hands in the lap or on the knees, your choice, up or down with the palms, and begin to close down the eyes here. Take a deep inhale and exhale, let it out. Shoulders relax down towards the mat. Relax the face, relax the knees. And just deepening the breath here. And setting your intention. How do you want this practice to go? How would you like the rest of your day to go, whether it's morning or evening? If it's evening, how would you like your next day to go? Maybe one or two words. And today we'll be working through the heart chakra, the sacral chakra, and a little bit of the solar plexus as well. So if you know about chakras and you want an affirmation that is associated with one, go ahead and think of those now, whether it's sacral or heart or solar. A few more deep breaths here. And if you had an intention, recalling that intention. One last big belly breath. And exhale out of the mouth. All right, opening up the eyes, flutter open the eyelashes. Welcome back. All right, so let's go ahead and get started in a downward facing dog. So first, maybe coming into that tabletop position and then tucking the toes and lifting the hips. If your dog feels a little short, walking it back a tiny bit and settling the head here between the shoulders. Maybe we walk it out, bend one knee, opposite leg straightens, getting a little calf stretch here. Walking the dog. All right, and then coming to stillness. Think about pulling the armpits towards one another. Maybe gripping in that mat with your fingertips. And then go ahead and look forward, walk all the way to the top of the mat. Go ahead and fold here. Bending in the knees, belly comes towards the thighs. Maybe straighten one leg. And then alternate straightening the opposite leg. Getting a little bit of lengthening in the hamstrings and moving back and forth here. Shake the head yes. Shake the head no. All right, bending in that knee. Go ahead and start to halfway lift. Flat back here. And then exhale, fold once more. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Upward hands pose. Exhale, hands come to the heart. Take a couple breaths here, remembering to slightly squeeze the glutes, slight tuck to the lower ribs. Always nice and active even when we're standing. All right, so putting weight into that left foot, go ahead and bend the right knee, heel comes towards the bum. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reach the hand for the inside of the foot. So holding on here, pull the knees back together and begin to move into a dancer's pose. Left arm lifts, nice and high, and then start to press the foot into the hand. Getting a nice little bow action here with the foot and the arm. And then maybe moving into a sugarcane pose with the hand to the ground or to a block if you have them available. And really elongating that left hamstring here. Take a couple more breaths. And then go ahead and bend in that standing leg. Press up through the heel, coming all the way back up. Go ahead and release the foot to the ground. Walk it out. I know we're getting a little heated at the gate. Trust me, it'll get a little lower to the ground. All right, so now weight in that right foot. Lift the left foot off the ground towards the bum. Reach for the foot. And then alternating the hand over to the inside of the foot. Pull the knees together. Right arm comes up to the sky. Coming into that dancer's pose and pressing the foot into the hand, getting some nice tension in the shoulder. And then start to either come a little more parallel to the ground or into that sugarcane pose, right fingertips to the ground. Press the foot into the hand, lengthening that hamstring. Hold the core up and in. Take a couple more breaths. And then bending in that right knee, press through the heel, engaging the glute. Come all the way back up. Release the foot. Walk it out. Taking a couple big breaths here, coming to stillness. Tadasana, mountain pose. And then inhaling, sweep the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back, pull those shoulders away from the ears, stick the bum back. Plant the palms, step back. Find a downward facing dog. Walk it out here. All right, coming to stillness. Really gripping in that mat with those fingertips. Make sure they're shoulder width apart with the hands. Reach the right leg high. Remember, heels straight up. So I know a lot of people just open up here, but go ahead and keep the toes dialed down, working on that alignment, keeping square hips. And then begin to open the toes out towards the right, balancing that weight evenly between the two shoulders. Go ahead and bend the knee, squeeze the heel towards the bum. And we'll start to come into a wild thing. So letting that back foot, that foot on the ground, pivot, parallel, bringing that top leg down, knees still bent, press up, open the heart, wild thing, squeeze the glutes to protect that lower back, and then rotating back to your three-legged dog, and bringing the foot back down. A breath here. And then lifting that left leg high, three-legged dog on the other side. Opening the toes out towards the left, stack the hips, bend the heel towards the bum, point the toes. Coming into that wild thing, allow that right foot to rotate parallel to the back of the mat. Left foot comes down, press the hips up, Open the heart. Wild thing. Recalling your intention here. Breathe and squeeze those glutes. One more breath. And then pivoting back into your three-legged dog. And then bringing that foot back down. Go ahead and take a child's pose momentarily. Send the hips back, forehead to the ground. Breathe here. Maybe the hands feel a little tight, you wiggle them around. Then go ahead and come back up into your downward facing dog. And we'll go through some downward dog rolls. So pressing up onto the toes, round that upper spine like in cat pose, and then come into a high plank. Bend the knees, send the hips back, lift them high, downward facing dog. And again, onto the toes, round the spine, come into that high plank. Bend the knees, send the hips back, and up. Keep on going, lifting up, round, high plank. Bend, send them back, downward dog. Keep breathing. Let's do two more. Round in that upper spine, high plank. Bend, hips go back and lift. Last one. Lift, round, high plank. Bend the knees, send the hips up and back. All right, now coming back into that high plank, lowering all the way down to the belly. Forehead comes to the ground momentarily. Hands under the shoulders, pull the elbows in. Take a breath. And then lifting up into a cobra. Remember, we're not straight up here lifting the pelvis off the ground. We're still pelvis on the ground, elbows are still bent. So you'll definitely feel this in your lower back. And then exhale, lower down. And then interlacing the hands, and then straightening the arms, pull the hands away from the glutes. Lifting the chin, the chest, and the feet off the ground, bound locust, or Baddha Salabhasana. Breathe here, pointing the toes, squeeze the glutes, lift a little higher. And then exhale, release. Plant the palms under the shoulders, pull the elbows in, press up. Cobra. Maybe we're a little higher here, but the pelvis is still on the ground. Exhale, lower down. And then interlace the hands behind the back. Straighten the arms, hands away from the glutes. Lift the gaze, lift the shoulders, legs go up. Fly your locust. Breathe here. Take a couple more breaths. And then exhale, lower down. Release the hands, palms go under the shoulders, pull the elbows in, press up into your cobra. This time though, we're gonna fly the hands off the mat. So you might need to lower the belly a little bit more and then lift the hands off the ground. Flying cobra, technically. But really, cobras don't have hands, do they? All right, lowering back down. Take a breath here. Maybe wiggle the hips. Side out. Recalling your intention. And then now, bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders. So if you need to scoot back to be fully on your mat, that's fine. Pull the elbows in. A lot of people like to come out here and they like to sink, but I want you to pull them in, eye of the elbows facing forward. And then we can stay here in the Sphinx pose if that's what you feel called to do, or you can start to press into the hands, straighten the arms, seal pose, which is a Yin pose, but we will be here for about 5 to 8 breaths. So keep breathing. If you feel any tightness or tension in that lower back, go ahead and squeeze the glutes. being mindful of your body and what it needs, knowing that this practice is connecting you to your body, creating that union, which yoga means union, and allowing you to be more present in your everyday life. Take a couple more breaths. And then slowly lower the elbows down. Go ahead and look forward in the Sphinx Pose. Look over the left shoulder. Take a couple breaths. And then come back to center. And then look over to the right, over the right shoulder. Couple breaths. And then come back to center. Go ahead and plant the palms. Come back up through a tabletop position. And then lowering the belly, lift the chin, lift the gaze. Cow pose. Exhale, press away. Cat pose. Inhale, belly lowers, chin and gaze lift, tailbone lifts. And then exhale, round the upper spine. Tuck the tailbone a little bit, or at least pull it in. And then lower the belly, lift the chin, lift the gaze, lead with the tailbone. And then last one, exhale, press away, cat pose. Round and stretch the scapulas. Go ahead and breathe here for a couple more breaths. Hold the belly up and in towards the navel. And then go ahead and come back into a neutral spine. Walk the hands a little bit more forward. Reach the right knee to the right wrist and let the foot come out to the opposite side. So we're starting to come into pigeon here. Go ahead and tuck those back toes and slowly walk that leg back so you can get the hips as close to the floor as possible. If you do need a prop here, a lot of times you will need one under the right hip. If you find yourself leaning a lot to the right, you most likely need a block and or a folded blanket. So feel free to pause the video. Bringing the hands right next to the hips, finding an upright pigeon momentarily. And we should be directly on our knee, so that leg should be shooting straight back from our hip. Take another breath. And then walk the hands forward, coming into your sleeping pigeon. Maybe we're just on our elbows, or option to come down to stacked hands, a block, a pillow, or forehead all the way down to the ground. Relax the upper body. And if you're sinking a lot into that right hip, try to lean a little bit more into the left to square the hips, finding that alignment. Breathe here. Take a couple more breaths. And then go ahead and rise the gaze. Press the hands into the ground. And then bring that back knee a little forward. Front knee comes back. And then we'll switch. Left knee to the left wrist. Let the foot go out the opposite way, so you might have to heel toe it out a little bit, wiggle it. And then tuck the back toes to bring the knee down, hips closer to the ground, finding your pigeon on the left side. So hands next to the hips. And again, if you need that prop, do it on this side too. Make sure that back knee is nice and flat on the ground. Take a breath here. Exhale, let it out. And as you do, descend all the way down. Sleeping pigeon. Forehead to the ground. Or to your hands or to a block. And again, if you're leaning a lot to the left, sink a little bit more to the right, evening yourself out, and relax that upper body. Take a couple more big inhales here. Exhale, let it out. Remembering your intention. Inhale. And open the mouth out. And plant the palms. Start to rise all the way back up. Bring that back knee forward, front knee back, meet them together. And then tuck the toes here, okay? So if you need your pinky toe out, let it flare out. If you want it tucked in, tuck it in. Start to walk the hands all the way back. Finding this intense toe stretch. So again, fix your pinky toes. I like mine tucked in. Some people like them out. And then settling in here, intense toe stretch. Let's do about 8 full breath cycles. So not quite a minute. And really focusing on your breath here. That'll be the key. Because if you try to focus on your feet or your toes, you might not make it. And if you need to lean a little bit more forward, that's okay if it's way too intense. It is called intense toe stretch, but we should not be in utter pain. Take a few more breaths. Nice and big. Take 2 more. Last one. Open the mouth, let it out. Okay, starting to walk the hands forward. Slowly release the toes. Gently press them into the mat. So the opposite direction, right? Can be pretty intense if you don't realize your feet are super tight. Not everybody notices. All right, so once you've done that, pressing them in a little bit, go ahead and tap, tap, tap. Getting that tension out. And then walk the knees a little bit more forward. And start to sit on the heels. Now that the toes are untucked, we'll start to walk the hands back. Maybe you need blocks here if you can't quite reach the ground. That's okay. Otherwise, palms flat to the ground. Start to make sure there's a little bit of space in between the feet. You don't want them overlapping. And then lift the knees off the ground if they go. Some people's don't, and that's okay. Breathing here, leaning back into it, ankle stretch. Be with the breath here. Recall the intention that you set for yourself. Take about 3 more big inhales and exhales. Maybe a little smile, pulling the corners of the mouth up. And then slowly we roll it all the way down. Walk the hands back forward. Maybe legs go a little further back towards the back of your mat. Hips go towards the heels and forehead to the ground, child's pose. You can rock the forehead side to side here, massaging that third eye point, that point of intuition, connection to others, inner wisdom or inner knowing. And then maybe coming to settle into stillness. Be with the breath. Be with your intention. Knowing that the mind is super powerful. And if you have something in your mind and it's a goal or a belief in something that you can achieve, then you will achieve it. I know it sounds a little cliche, but I know for myself, the more that I believe in something and the more that I want and desire something to occur, the more I make it happen. But remember, you can't only think about it. You have to take inspired action. Take 1 more breath, nice and big. Open the mouth, let it all out. And then go ahead and look forward. Come back into your tabletop position. Walk the knees forward and swing the legs around. Coming into your easy pose, Sukhasana. All right. Eyes can be closed for a moment if you'd like. Just absorbing everything that your body went through. We kind of covered almost everything. And definitely woke up the spine. All right, I appreciate you, and I hope that your intention comes true and you really concentrate on it and make it happen, okay? So I don't know what time of the day you did this, but if you really liked the video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with anybody that you think might enjoy it, okay? So hands come to the heart. I truly appreciate you visiting my channel, and I hope to see you in the future. Feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite part of the flow was, because that feedback is ideal to me in order to create more content that you like. All right, hands at the heart, and we'll bow to one another. Thank you so very much, and namaste. Bye everyone, peace out.